Hello, friends. Welcome. This is episode 5 of Uplift with Tiffany. Thank you for showing up and welcome new friends. My name is Tiffany Garvin. I am a best-selling author, international speaker, and coach. And today I'm freezing due to these funny rolling blackouts and everything. We're just going to be you and me like this. In order to avoid any funny interruptions in electricity and taking a break to warm myself up again. We're just going to have a chat like this. So I hope I have something uplifting for you today because it's crazy out there, and I hope I can provide that for you a bit. So you may have noticed on our Facebook group, Serve Love Lift, a post regarding everyday trauma and DTSD, or daily traumatic stress disturbance. This is something that is very real. The DTSD is a milder version of PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. And that is a disorder that develops because of trauma. Well, so is DTSD. The current definition of trauma can be insufficient at times, and it tends to be a little limiting. And it only accounts for the bigger, more extreme situations. But let's consider a more comprehensive definition. Psychological trauma is the result of any event or ongoing experience, physical, mental, or emotional, that is not fully processed or resolved and negatively influences a person's ability to function in life. So let's explain that a little bit more. This definition opens up the conversation for everyday trauma, right? Life offers everyday trauma. It provides multiple opportunities and experiences that can traumatize us. And I think we look past it because it's not one of these big events that short circuits everything for a long time, or there's a physical injury or a big traumatic, obvious experience, or long term, whether it's abuse or a natural disaster or COVID or freezing temperatures when you're used to warmth. This is a regular life kind of experience. This can be entertaining negative thoughts too much. It can be watching news updates about COVID. It can be living with someone who is constantly grumpy or even insulting. It can be losing a job or experiencing financial strain. It can be getting cut off in traffic. It can be anything. It's life. That's the point. It's just life. But life is constantly providing these opportunities for us to be traumatized. And if we don't have something to respond quickly and effectively to these difficult experiences, then they can dig in deep and burrow in and surface later in things that look much like PTSD, but milder, everyday things, chronic illness even. But these are things like extra stress, anxiety, depression. It can be constantly fighting off feelings of insecurity. It can be getting startled when your friends throw you a surprise party, but you don't feel happy. You feel anxious and sick. Fireworks. How many of you struggle with the loud, noisy, jarring effects of fireworks? They can be beautiful, but to somebody who's dealing with PTSD, it's obvious. But there are a lot of us who deal with DTSD, daily traumatic stress disturbance, where it's a miserable experience. It's jarring and uncomfortable and even panic-inducing. So here's an example of my own recently that illustrates a bit of what DTSD can be. And really, I'm not looking for more labels. I'm not looking to help people identify with another disorder or anything like that. This is to create compassion. This is to create awareness so that we actually get help for things that are bothering us instead of dismissing them or brushing them off as, well, I'm just overreacting. No, you're really not. There's something inside of you that's being agitated and triggered. That's why you reacted the way you did. So the other day, my husband was on a phone call and he had it on speakerphone. And so I could hear him from the other room. And I felt kind of a shortness of breath. I started feeling panicky inside. It wasn't so much about the thoughts even. It was just these feelings that were coming that were really uncomfortable. And I started asking, all right, what's going on? What am I feeling? What thoughts am I having? And um, I had to work for it. It wasn't just obvious. But what I realized is that hearing him on the phone reminded me of years ago when money was tight and some company was calling to say, we need our money right now. And we couldn't pay right then. And they were determined and, I mean, even kind of vicious. And that was terrifying. Well, all of those feelings started coming back, that powerlessness, that fear, that anxiety of what's going to happen, just from hearing him on a speakerphone on a call, right? I didn't relive that trauma from before, and it wouldn't even necessarily be categorized as trauma in the normal definition of trauma. But when you consider the idea of everyday trauma, of these mild and sometimes significant still difficulties that we don't fully know how to process, like me, I didn't know how to process it then like I do now. Now I just get to deal with the residual from that experience and experiences like it. I'm just glad I have the tools to do it. And I'm training you to have these tools as well. So this call triggered all these things in me, and I sat for the next while. That was actually a good amount of time and processed through these experiences, reminded myself that I'm safe right now, and consciously identified pieces that were comforting. Then I healed what I could. I released these emotions that had been stuck with those traumas. I strengthened my inner paradigms to be able to handle the difficult experience. And I just was patient and compassionate with myself and worked through until I could finally take a deep breath and I could feel more peaceful. And let me tell you, I've been resolving things for myself for 7 years. 7 years I've been healing. And that was recovering from the 18 years of chronic illnesses before that. So yeah, there's a lot that I've had to heal from, but I've healed from the massive things already. Those are done. I've been able to do that for myself. But what I haven't finished completely are these daily traumatic stress disturbances, these everyday traumas that have left me with DTSD. I mean, I coined it. Yeah, this is mine, but it's real. It's so real. And I think that we need to recognize it for what it is and be able to take appropriate steps necessary to help us and nurture ourselves and heal ourselves from these things that are very real instead of dismissing them, instead of them just being written off as I'm overreactive or I'm emotional, right? That's not helpful. So what is it in you that is getting stirred up? It can be new everyday traumas from COVID, from financial strain right now. It can be worrying about people getting sick. It can be watching the world go into chaos. All these things can not only imprint everyday trauma, but they can also trigger previous trauma and everyday trauma. So pay attention to that. Pay attention when you start feeling anxious. Pay attention when you start feeling extra afraid and can't just, reassure yourself and be okay. Pay attention to your children. They are getting traumatized. Again, this is not to frighten you. This is not to stress you out. This is to encourage you and to reassure you. The behavior you are seeing in your children already is evidence of everyday trauma. Help them, love them, validate them. If you notice that article, just a short post in the Facebook group about before you jump in and reassure somebody, let them express, let them process, give them an opportunity to work through the experience as it's happening, because that can prevent DTSD later. It can help these difficult experiences go through their natural course, come in, process, and go out so they don't get stuck, right? The stuff that we're dealing with can get stuck, and it can traumatize us in ways that we're not recognizing. So start now working through what you're thinking and feeling and experiencing so that it can just pass through you. And the ones that have already stuck, use the techniques I've been teaching you. Use release to take care of those emotional and mental burdens that have already burrowed in and got you stirred up. Strengthen the paradigms in your subconscious to recognize you can handle this. You can handle the new strength, the new struggles, and you can heal the DTSD that's getting triggered. A wonderful gal, Gina, posted on the Facebook group about how she's struggling with anxiety and this anxiousness right now with everything going on, especially with these new struggles of this crazy cold and rolling blackouts. I mean, we're timing this pretty well so that I definitely don't get cut off. But things need to move on. Life needs to continue on, and we need to be able to help the people around us. We need to be able to take care of the things that need to be tended to, right? Life goes on, even if we're getting triggered like crazy. So she says, I need to be able to function and feel good, not feel overwhelmed and bad inside. She wants a quick, simple reset. I think a lot of us want a quick, simple reset. So let's talk about that. I'm going to review some of the things that we've already talked about in previous episodes, but bring them all together so that it's one walkthrough and you can review back with this. So, do you remember the journey framework? Right? It was just a couple episodes ago. Let's go through it again together. Face the challenge, learn the lesson, make the change. It's simple and it's clear and it's concise. Face the challenge. What is it that you're facing? What is it you're feeling? What can you identify that you're experiencing right now? Get a piece of paper, write it down. The first thing that's getting stirred up, analyze it. Take a minute to honor what is coming up. It's asking you for help. Don't ignore it. Don't push it aside. Don't dismiss it. It's needing help. and you have the power to help. Face the challenge. What are you feeling, thinking, sensing right now? Write it down. Is it anxiety, fear, hopelessness, powerlessness? Are you worried for your children? Are you worried for an ailing parent? Are you feeling forgotten, alone? Are you feeling worthless? Has no one checked on you? I'm checking on you. Please know that people are thinking about you, even if they don't reach out to you. This is a place to connect. All right, jump on the Facebook group. If you need help, please jump on and say something. They're loving people. They're ready to help you and support you. Serve, Love, Lift. Just in case you forgot. Facebook group, Serve, Love, Lift. Come on in. Identify the challenge. Identify the struggle. What are the thoughts? What are the emotions? Are you thinking, I can't live like this? The power is going out and on and out, and I can't get a rhythm. And so I feel panicked. I feel powerless. Write it down. Don't entertain it. Write it down. Get it on this piece of paper. The thoughts. What are the thoughts are you feeling and thinking? It's too cold. I can't handle it. COVID is going on too long. I can't deal with it anymore. My children are going to walk away with wounds from this. Well, not if you help them. Not if you get them help. Not if you listen. Not if you take the time to help them through this now, which you can. You can help them through this. There are even some children's mindfulness audios on my YouTube channel. I created 3 of them. They are bedtime and calming and what's the other one? They're all together. There's 3 of them on there. So they're about 6 minutes long. And if you don't know what to say to your sweet little ones, open up YouTube when the power's on or on your phone and play that for them. Okay. You have the tools and the resources and the support that you need. Okay. What else are you thinking of, feeling of? Write it down. All right. After you've unloaded about everything that this challenge is, you've faced the challenge, you've identified it. It's not haunting you, it's not lurking, it's down on paper and it can't scare you anymore. It is acknowledged. It is out of the dark and into the light. Okay? Next, learn the lesson. Give yourself a minute to think, ask, and listen. Is there a message I need to learn in this? Is there something I need to hear? Is there a lesson that will help me get through this and help me move forward stronger? So if you muscle test, it can be helpful to go through different resources. Go through my books, Life Above the Line or The Alchemy of Becoming. They're both on Amazon and you can get them super cheap right now, the Kindle or paperback. Or if you have other books that you really love, if you rely on your scriptures, if you rely on some personal development books, if you have a list of positive quotes that you've put together, or Google happy quotes, right? Whatever it is, find the resources around you and muscle test through the different things that can help you discern the message that's trying to get through this challenge, so that it can help you and lift you and strengthen you. If you don't know how to muscle test, that's okay. You still have an intuition. You still have the ability to receive inspiration and personal revelation for your own well-being. All you need to do is sit in a quiet spot, even if it's in the bathroom and you close the door so nobody comes in, right? Find yourself a quiet space and just sit and think, what is it that I need to learn? What's the message? What do I need to know about this challenge? And then just listen. Let the thoughts come. Let the feelings come. Let the impressions come, right? The answers might come in a memorized quote or scripture. It might come in words that somebody told you recently to reassure you. It might come in a thought that you've had but didn't feel like you could believe. Believe it. The answer might also come in a feeling where you just feel warmth and you feel peace. And you can let that reassure you. The feeling might come in a strength, an inner strength of renewed power. It might feel like you've got to get up and go do something. It might feel that you have love around you, right? So pay attention to the feelings and acknowledge them. Be quick to listen, not to dismiss. Okay? Your intuition might also be getting some hits here. Something that just says, get up and do this. Go check on so-and-so, text this person. It might be an energy that makes you feel stronger and more powerful and more capable to face what you're experiencing. But give yourself that gift, that powerful, beautiful gift of listening for the messages that are trying to get to you through this challenge. They will probably strengthen you and uplift you and encourage you and reassure you. All right. Next is make the change. What change needs to be made? Is it something external? Do you need to follow some of the impressions that you felt in the lesson stage? Do you need to reach out to somebody? Do you need to go check on your kids and have a conversation with them and spend some time with them, talking about positive things or talking about how to work through what they're feeling? Because even if they haven't said something, they are feeling strain. If it's not from school, it's from people in your home. No blame here. Remember, we're not blaming. This is not a space to blame. This is just dealing with what is. So your little ones are struggling. Have a new approach, an approach where you take care of your needs and then you come to them and say, what's up, sweetie? Can we talk about this? What are you feeling? And instead of saying, because we have a tendency, right, to reassure very quickly. We have a tendency to say, oh, everything's going to be okay before they can even get out everything they're feeling. So feel the safety, feel the strength, feel your inner power, and have that purpose to give space to your little ones or other loved ones around you who don't feel like they have a space to share or to express. Know that you can handle whatever they say. And if you need to strengthen that thought before you go in, then do it. If you need to strengthen your own peace and resolve and resilience before you go and offer this space, then do it. But you want to give them that space to express whatever icky thing they're feeling or thinking, just see if you can empty them of these worries, empty them of these triggers that are happening. Then, once it feels like they're done, then reassure them, then encourage them, remind them how strong they are, teach them release, let them know that they can wrap up their little emotions in a bubble and let it flow away, and it'll be taken care of, and they can go about feeling safe and peaceful and happy. It's so simple. Follow the impressions to journal this experience, the difficulties and the positives, right? Maybe you need to write a gratitude list. Write down everything that is good, right? That helps me. I do have power sometimes, even if it gets cut off regularly and unpredictably, I do have power still. And I often have warm water and running water, right? Find the positives. You can spin anything positive or negative. So start spinning them in a positive way and write down everything you're grateful for. All right. Follow the impressions to make any external changes you need to make. Then come to the internal change that needs to be made. What else is floating around that just needs to be acknowledged and let go? Recognize it and release it, whether it's a thought or feeling or some other belief or wound that is ready to surface and be let go, right? Release it and let it all out. And let it go each time it surfaces. You can sit down and work on it consciously and proactively, but you can also just do it as you're moving forward. You start feeling stress, release and breathe. And then take another step forward. And then proactively go in and identify those positive statements, the new paradigms, and strengthening your paradigms that uplift you and strengthen you and encourage you and empower you, the ones that help you feel resilient and safe, and that there's meaning in all of this, and that you are valuable and wonderful and are good. Strengthen all of those things. If you want to take the negative list and flip it and strengthen those, do that. But if you just have positive thoughts trying to find traction in you, give them traction, give them space, give them strength, and energize them so that they can take root and become real. Help your little ones heal, help your family and friends heal. There's plenty of information on my YouTube channel that you can go and review quickly or at length. Little videos, little tips, little techniques, as well as the longer meditations. If you need those are great. I have 4 meditations that are guided meditations, one for immune boosting, one for pain relief, one for relaxation, and one called Peaceful and Empowered, but it's AKA overcoming feeling overwhelmed, right? Nobody wants to listen to a meditation that says overwhelm. So it's called Peaceful and Empowered. If you're feeling overwhelmed, just turn that on and sit and listen and absorb. Let that lift you up if you can't. If you don't feel like it, you can do it on your own yet. Have them running in the background. One of my students told me a while back that she just started playing them in the background, just one after the other. And she found that her children were more calm. The home felt more peaceful and steady. They behaved well. They weren't as grumpy. They didn't fight. Just have it going in the background if you need to. But they can also help you as you take the time to sit and listen and absorb as well. So you can do this. I know you can. This work is beautiful and simple and effective. Check out the different YouTube videos I have on my channel, the meditations, the little audios for the kiddos. there's a lot of fun stuff on there. If you like ukulele music, there's even some of those. The biggest thing to remember, again, is that you are normal. You are good and you are powerful. And all this chaos is just an opportunity. It's an opportunity to heal and rise up and be stronger and to learn what you need to do to move forward. The challenges are real, but you are stronger than the challenges. You have the power to overcome them. So I love you. You can do this. Hopefully next week, everything will be back to normal and we can be live again and interact some more. But until then, you've got this. I believe in you. Take care. See you next week.